Greetings everyone, my name is Steele and welcome back to Buried. On our last adventure, we awoke dazed and confused and tried to figure out exactly how our equipment got destroyed and how our entire crew just mysteriously vanished, with the exceptions of finding Tony, who was killed, and Dennis, who only seems to be slightly injured. We ended up leaving him back up on the surface as we went off to explore this mysterious sound that has been emitting through the entire area. We ended up coming across an entryway into an underground bunker, and judging by this picture here, we're now standing in the middle of an underground railroad. Now, if you remember the panels that we dealt with towards the end of the first chapter, one of the lights read Unidentified Entity Breach, which is leading me to believe we're dealing with some sort of containment. And this whole picture here is definitely giving me some Resident Evil vibes, so I wouldn't be surprised if we run into an underground laboratory of some sorts. But for right now, we're going to pick things up with Chapter 2 and see what the hell we stumbled upon here. We're standing on the thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway. The rails look well used, but not old. It keeps saying where. I'm thinking I'm supposed to have had Dennis come with me. A lot of these sentences are depicting that I'm with somebody else, when in fact I'm by myself. I came in this place alone. There are small overhead lights that are very dim, as if they are running on emergency power. The dim overhead lights are a blessing, but the size of the place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying. But there's a small light further ahead, and then a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe. This understanding comes with a very strong sense of trespassing. I am definitely not supposed to be here. And if that's the case, we are going to remain quiet as the grave. I keep my mouth shut. I don't understand what kind of situation I'm in, so there's no need to alert whoever might be here. The reality of what I am seeing is sinking in. Whatever this place is reaches way underground. That seems impossible to me, making anything that's on the other side of this tunnel dangerous as far as I'm concerned. But of course, I am going to go on. Human curiosity is going to see to that. Also, the ringing noise is louder down here. It's much more solid now, and there's some other sound. Something like the faint hum of machinery. I can go either left or right. The left is slightly lit, the right not so much. This makes me uneasy because I get the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this and I'd be wandering for hours. Looking which way, I jerk my head right as I hear the unmistakable sound of someone walking. Footsteps. Did I really hear something? I wonder as my eyes strain to see anything. I wait a moment, but the sound doesn't come again. So those are my options. To the left are flickering lights, indicating that I'll at least be able to see. There's also a hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the right is just darkness, but I also heard footsteps in that direction. Tough choice. Do I want to go to the right and find out who the hell that is? Because it could be a crewmate lost down here as well. Or it could be someone who has far better knowledge as to what the hell this place is and what's going on. Or do I go to the left, where there's machinery and lights, but no signs of life? I mean, it does say the machinery is a sign of life, but there's no human life. Machines could be whirling to life. That's what it's indicating. Ooh, choices. Let's see. You know what? I am going to go to the left. Because I'm a lefty. I default to the left. You decide to head left into the lights. Seems smart to stay in the light. Left it is. As I head left, the lights ahead are like a beacon in the dark, luring me forward. I wonder if it's a good or bad thing that they left the lights on for me. I think to myself. I'm trying to be funny, but end up creeping myself out instead. As I near the lights, I hear the hum of machinery grow louder, but it doesn't sound like any machine I've ever heard before. Now fully stepping into the light, I hear that the sounds of machinery are coming from an area on the left side that is protected by a guardrail. Wisps of bright blue light dance on the walls as they leak out from whatever is below. I also notice a posted sign that says danger, severe radiation poisoning. Okay, yeah, let's not fuck with that. We're gonna stay back and move on. I don't need to grow a third leg. I don't think I should get near whatever is down there. I study the blue lights for a moment and then turn away. I have enough problems as it is. I don't think I need to add radiation poisoning to my list. I step away and take off down the tunnel again, very aware that it's probably not the smartest idea. As I start walking, I notice another structure coming into view up ahead. As I head further into the tunnel, I reach another platform. I'm looking and trying to process where I am now when I suddenly hear the rapid footfalls of someone running towards me. They're sprinting this way from the dark side of the tunnel, and fast. I can't see anything, but their footsteps echo towards me. Having not seen or heard anyone else in here, I have no idea if they are dangerous or not. I realize I only have a few seconds before they're on top of me. Ooh, hide and attack? Stand out in the open. I don't want to attack! Jesus Christ, what if they got a gun? I don't know who the hell's down here. Wow, this is kind of a stupid choice. Why can't I just hide and stay quiet? Alright, stand out in the open, I guess. Let them find me. I figure I might as well greet them like a civilized human being. There would be a better chance of getting answers that way. I step out into the light and as they get closer and closer. And when they step into the glow of the platform, I can't believe my eyes. It's Dennis. Dennis? What the hell are you doing down here? I left you up at the logging site. He stops running and stares at me, dumbfounded. Oh my god, Roger, it's you! I'm so glad to see you in this godforsaken tunnel. How did you get down here? I asked, and why are you down here? You didn't seem fit to move. He bends over and puts his hand on his knees, breathing heavily. I can see that the gush from his side is inflamed now. It's not safe up there, he says, as though that explains everything. I started running to get away and ended up here. Get away from what? I was waiting for you when we last spoke, and then I heard something in the woods. At first I thought it was a car radio, some crackling static, but it was much louder, like some kind of demon. It got louder and louder and freaked me out. I just started running. I fell into some kind of sinkhole. The damn ground just fell out from under me. I ended up in this weird hallway that led me to this tunnel. He pauses as if evaluating whether what he's just said is crazy or not. Well, you're here now, and honestly, I'm glad to see you, I say. What do you say we check out this platform and see if we can get some answers? There's light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they are dim, red emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion of that logging site caused a power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. When we come to the large open area ahead of the tunnel, it further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We have stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that is buried beneath the forests of Kentucky. Raccoon City! It makes absolutely no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what the hell we have walked into. I notice that Dennis seems confident, though. When we reach the large opening, we have to climb over the rails and up onto the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up the small utility ladder that is bolted into the opposite side of the travelway. When he reaches a large opening after an area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses on the floor and lets out a heavy breath. You know what? Dennis says, exasperated. This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further. On top of worrying about my crew and the madness of wherever we are, I'm not in the mood for Dennis to act like a baby. Get up, pull it together, Dennis. It's okay, take it easy. You can do this. You know what? Let's give him some mild reassurance here, because I feel like he wouldn't react too kindly to me ragging on him. I'm not the one with the gash in my side, I think to myself, so I decided to cut him some slack. Damn, boss. I'm sorry, he says. It's okay, I say. I don't know how you're still on your feet, but if I'm being honest... Stubbornness, he says, with a weak laugh. You need a minute of rest? I ask as warmly as I can muster. No, if I sit down to rest, I'm afraid I might not get back up. Let's keep going while I can still go. I reach down, help him to his feet, and then we get ourselves up onto the platform. Right in front of us, there's an entrance to a long hallway, exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realize those red emergency lights might be on for someone else who is actually supposed to be here. Yell out or stay quiet. Again, we're staying as quiet as the grave. I'm still not sure if I want to alert anyone to the fact that there are strangers in this secret place. And the thought of hearing a scream, even my own, in this empty place is too much to bear. The emergency lights continue to flicker ahead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. My mind is racing with what sort of place this might be. It's obvious that it's meant to be a secret. And if it is supposed to be a secret and there was a power outage recently, maybe most everyone has been evacuated. This thought does nothing to make me feel any better as we walk towards the platform exit. We step inside and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come through. Weakly illuminated, but more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks surreal for a moment. The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean and tidy area I've seen since coming into the woods. It looks like it was recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the walls, and the floor looks well cleaned, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and a small flashing red light along the ceiling seems to flash along with it. That ringing noise is an alarm, I say, if only to confirm my own thought. But for what? Dennis asks. And then he asks the question that has been on my mind since I found the little building in the woods. What the hell is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volumes. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by the clicking noise and then an unmistakable noise of a generator kicking on. Hey, the power's back. I hope. Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency lights is suddenly replaced by bright white fluorescent ones. That mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise has stopped. So it had been an alarm. But for what? Just a power failure? We head down the hallway, the electrical hum of the lights sounding eerie overhead. Other than that, this place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long with two main doors. One door opens onto a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and papers strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against the wall in defeat and lets out a scary-sounding chuckle. Something funny? I ask as a dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down the floor. I'm just going to sit here while you look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of the road. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, enter the conference room or enter the lab. I feel like entering the lab would give us some answers, but then again, I'm just a lumberjack. I mean, I don't know how much I would have in terms of scientific knowledge. So I feel like the conference room would be the better bet, because then we can find paperwork and probably something on that whiteboard that would be far easier to understand. So let's check that out instead. A large table sits in the middle of the room, lined with a series of chairs. It looks like something straight out of a showroom. A well-used whiteboard hangs on the wall, and there are scattered papers on the desk. Look at the papers on the table, look at the whiteboard on the wall. Let's look at the whiteboard first. I feel like you can get easier information from that. A few things are scribbled on the whiteboard, mostly formulas and names. But there are some things that are easy to understand, things that make my blood go cold. Subject number 6, cause of death, embolism or aneurysm, or both. Ideas for new delivery mode. Spherical, liquid, induced comatose state first. TerraCore Company, possible plutonium supplier. Well, the only thing I can think of you need plutonium for is a nuclear bomb. What the fuck is this place? Alright, let's look at the papers on the table. Most of the papers and printouts have codes and equations that go way over my head. But there are also handwritten notes that don't make me feel any better about our situation. I read through them and see scrawled notes that say things like, last experiment failed, equal overdose before transport, levels indicate cellular catabolism, more lead shielding in export suits, measurements make no sense, make Barksdale know about possible Higgs field fix. Outside in the hallway I hear Dennis grunting. I head out of the room to see him still sitting on the floor. But I don't get very far because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. Oh shit. We pissed off Umbrella. It's hard to look beyond his rifle, but the man carrying it is young with messy dark hair. His skin is so pale that I wonder if maybe he lives down here. He has the look of a guy who has been cooped up for a little too long. He doesn't seem like the kind of person I'd trust with a gun in a stressful situation. What situation would you trust anybody with a gun, in all honesty? As he sees us in the doorway, he screams and brings the gun up. It is aimed directly at my head. Yeah, let's put hands up in the air, not try to attack the guy with the means of killing us. I put my hands up in the air, surprised at how natural it feels to go into this surrendered state. Maybe it's because this feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap awake if the maniac pulls the trigger. Who are you and how did you get here? The man asks harshly. Before we can answer, he continues speaking. I don't recognize you. If you're here, you would have had to sneak up by security mics in the entrance hall. What? I ask, unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asks. Did you do this? The man eyes us both, and I see something in his eyes that unsettles me. He is scared, but there is something else. Yeah, we're just loggers. I'm just a God, what the hell is going on here? God damn. Just a logger. Just a lumberjack. Or just up on the surface, jacking my logs all day. I don't know anything. His eyes look distant for a minute, and then he says, bullshit. But for some reason, I am pretty sure he knows I'm telling the truth. Someone knocked the power out, the man says. It's back on now, but if it was out long enough, well, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you? Who sent you? Look, we don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are there others with you? The armed man asked, thrusting the gun in my face. How the hell did we get in this situation? I think to myself. If only I had left that damn ringing noise alone, we wouldn't be here. I'm not really sure if we want to give this guy information yet. We don't know anything about him. Then again, he might have answers. No, just us. We're looking for a crew. No, we gotta give him a reason as to why we're down here. It's like, we're just lumberjacks who happen to stumble across a fucking umbrella facility underground the land of Kentucky. Like, this is a fucked situation. We have other crew members that we can't find, I say. Your crew? He asks, seeming confused. If this man thinks that we're nuts, there's no telling what he might do. The fact that he looks a little crazy himself makes the situation even hairier. But how'd you get in here? The man asked. I point down the hall towards the subway. We came in that way. The doors weren't locked. His expression calms a bit, but I am still very aware of the gun that is leveled less than a foot away from my face. Please put the gun down, grab his gun. Alright, let's try to defuse this situation calmly, shall we? Let's not go grabbing things we're not supposed to. I don't need to go grab at another man's barrel. You asked the man to calmly put his gun down. The only way I'm putting this rifle down is after I've blown your brains out, the man says. With that, he uses the muzzle of the gun to flip my hard hat onto the floor. It's a childish move, a playground tactic at best, but it's sufficient to show me that he knows he's in control now. He then levels the rifle at Dennis, and I can only assume it's because his wounds make him appear to be the weaker of us. The man takes a shaky step forward. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun and me, his eyes pleading for help. Step between Dennis and the gun, stay back. No, let's get between these two. You step between Dennis and the gun and Dennis. Before I'm fully aware of what I'm doing, I step out in front of Dennis. The barrel of the rifle is nearly touching my chest now. Both Dennis and the man seem a little confused at my actions, and I do my best to swallow down my fear. I don't know what's going on here, I say, but we are here by mistake. Well, you have no business here, the man says, but now that the power is on, I think you might be too late anyway. For what? I ask. But he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes me backwards with the end of his rifle. The man then repeats a question he asked before, one that makes no sense and honestly makes me think he might be a little crazy. Who sent you, he asks. You assholes from the Pentagon? I'm not quite sure how to take this question. Is this guy joking? Yeah, I'm the president. No, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, I'm not gonna give this guy any reason to wanna fucking fill me full of lead at all. No, I say, we're just loggers. Something blew up and my friend got hurt. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Likely story, the man says, but I see a flicker of recognition in his face that makes me think he might believe me. Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. You both just stand still, he says. Sooner or later, someone will come along, and I'll turn you over. He again thrusts the gun forward, as if it was an invisible bayonet on it. There's no need for that, I tell him. I have no guarantee that he won't pull the trigger. Look, Dennis says, we don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. Then in a movement so fast that I just about missed it, Dennis lunges forward. I have no idea how he is moving so fast. Just 30 seconds ago, I was worried about how close to death he looked. But now he's moving lightning fast, his left arm coming down on the barrel of the gun like a club. In the commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is deafening, and there is a moment where I think I've been hit. It takes the clanging noise of the round tearing into the floor at my feet to help me realize that I have not been shot. I look at the floor to see where the shot missed, my right leg by less than 3 inches. I'm paralyzed, in shock for a moment as Dennis and the man fight over possession of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall I could use as a bludgeon, but I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. Grab fire extinguisher and come back, or punch him. Oh, you're right there, just punch him. Punch him in his stupid face. Dennis has the man pinned on the floor, but isn't strong enough to keep him down. As I fall to the floor to help, the barrel of the rifle swings right in front of my face, a reminder how close I had come to being shot. On my knees now, I deliver a hard, stiff punch to the man's face. I don't punch someone often. Never, really. I'm not usually the brawling type. Still, it is apparently effective. The man's head snaps back hard and his grip on the gun loosens. Dennis grabs the gun and falls to the floor, clearly winded and in pain. Our attacker is immobilized and I can feel a shift in the situation. Yet, although he is basically harmless now, I feel the need to pummel him, a desire that builds up each second I look at him. No, he's down, he's immobilized, he's not a threat anymore, unless he's got a sidearm. That hasn't been made apparent at all. But let's stand up and step back. Everyone just calm the fuck down. You take it easy on the man. He's definitely out now, no threat. Or at least that's what I think. But he surprises me by mustering up one more swift kick in my direction, connecting with my forehead. My eyelid swells to the size of a grape almost immediately. It seems like this last attack is more to spite me than to defend himself. I stumble back and ready myself for another round of blows, but he just slouches onto the floor. He's done. Dennis instantly hands the rifle over to me and I take it with shaky hands. I can't believe you stepped between me and that gun, Dennis says. He could have killed you. I was pretty sure he wouldn't, he say, although I had no such thing. Still, thanks, man. That was some heroic stuff. You would have done the same, right? Dennis says nothing. His eyes look to the floor. What do we do now, boss? Dennis asks. We've come this far, and I want answers. I sense that Dennis does, too. I walk over and pick up my hard hat off the floor. After placing it on my head, I turn towards the man. We get answers from this guy. No answers, the man says. I don't have any. Next time I won't just hit you, I say, plunging the rifle towards him. Now get up. He obeys quickly, but his legs are wobbly and he leans against the wall for support. I can feel my swollen eyelid from where he kicked me earlier. I just hope it doesn't get so bad that it affects my sight. All right, let's move, I say, pointing the gun further down the hallway. We've come this far, and I'm not going until this guy stops. I'm not going to let this guy stop us. We walk down the hallway until we come to the end. A single elevator awaits us. Its steel sliding doors larger than a normal elevator. Man, this is getting intense. Who knew a lumberjack could disarm a trained soldier? Just getting nuts, yo. Before I get into the elevator with this guy, I think it's wise to learn a bit more about him. I can tell it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. What's your name? I ask. Marcus. And you work here? It's clear that he doesn't want to answer, but he gives us a little nod. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Any idea where they might be? I ask. No, he says curtly, not bothering to elaborate. There's got to be some useful info we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig for it. I need a first aid kit from my friend here. I say, where might I find one? Down on the second floor, he says, but we can't go down there. We're going down there, okay? What's on level 2? He looks at me like an idiot. You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility, he says. It makes sense, but I want to doubt it. Well, I'm sure a government would want you to help save my friend. So take me to the first aid kit. I can't, he says. You don't have clearance. Hell, I barely have clearance. Then seemingly to himself, he mutters, I make this place run. And not even a thank you, just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm only allowed to go into with a friggin' chaperone. I interrupt his monologue. We're going to that first aid kit. I could lose my job, he says. I wonder for a moment what sort of trouble I could get in for hitting a government employee. This makes me glad I took it easy on him. Then again, He had come to us with a rifle. It makes me think that things had gone terribly wrong in this place. And the explosion in the woods, or whatever the hell had happened, might be linked to it all. I need to convince him to take us to the second floor, but I'm not sure if it would be more productive to threaten him or ask for sympathy. Threaten him or ask for help? Man, I don't know. I mean, I have a gun pointed at him to begin with, and he's refusing. Let's see if I can get some sympathy out of him. Maybe he's a man of empathy. Look, I say, it hasn't been the best day. We're just trying to find out what's going on to find our crew to survive. I know that this isn't a normal situation down here. It looks like all your protocols have been blown to hell. Can't you help us out? He looks at me sternly, weighing his options. Okay, he says. Thank you, I say. With an untrusting stare, Marcus walks to the elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the doors. He punches in a numerical code on the keypad, and we can hear a slight mechanical hum behind the steel doors. After a few seconds of angry glances and frightening sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The steel door slides open with a whisper, revealing the interior. It's exceptionally well lit and looks to be made of stainless steel. I half expect the thing to take off at the speed of light. There's another small keypad on the front right panel by the door with the options of 3 sub-level floors. Looks like this elevator doesn't go to the surface. So after we get a first aid kit for Dennis, how do we get out of here? I ask. We can't leave, Marcus says. Once the power came back on, the whole place was put on lockdown. What? I shout. Can't you override it? No, it's to prevent anything from getting out. I can't. Marcus looks as defiant as Dennis. We can't get out. We're stuck here. Dennis leans into the corner and almost falls onto the floor. The struggle for the rifle took a lot out of him. I can see that much in his face. Slowly, we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motors fills the space. What can you do? So we're stuck here forever? Yeah, let's ask him what he can do. He's got minimum clearance, but he's got to have access to something. Marcus bristles at the question, but I think it's fair. I mean, he's not allowed to unlock the doors or even get medical supplies. Why keep a guy around who can't even grab a Band-Aid without permission? Without me, nothing would be done here, Marcus answers me. These people think they're so brilliant, but some of them can barely turn their computers on without help. The top coder in my class at MIT, and I'm stuck living underground helping idiots who don't even trust me with keys. What goes on here? Try to get as many answers as I can. Marcus shakes his head. You may as well shoot me, I can't tell you. Why not? It's beyond classified, and the things I know don't even cover the start of it. What does that mean? I ask, starting to get irritated. It means that even if I wanted to tell you what sort of work is done here, I don't know enough about it. Yeah, what is your job? I handle the IT work and make sure the databases are up and running. It's a 24/7 job. I haven't seen sunlight in almost a year. I wonder what staying in a place like this for that long would do to someone's mind. I was recruited, he continues. Because of the workload, no one else wanted this job, but I don't really mind being by myself. No family. Plus the IT, it's some crazy shit. Crazy how? I ask. This place generates over 100 terabytes of data per day, he answers, getting the slightest bit excited before his face falls again. What happened here? What knocked out the lights? Let's ask what happened here. Let's just be direct. Seems like some sort of power outage, Marcus says. That's all I know. There was an outage and then what? Dennis asks weakly. Then things got weird. Things got bad. Bad how, I ask. The whole place seemed to shake, then the lights went out. I was checking the monitors when it happened and everything went dead. It took no more than a minute or so before I started hearing the screams. People were being killed by something. I tried getting the security cameras going again, but they only lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw... What? I asked, feeling a sharp fear worm its way into my guts. Well, what I saw on the screens from what little bit of time made no sense. It made me get the gun from the emergency vault. I think whatever it is, it's still down here. Hold on. I say, there's an emergency vault with a rifle in the same room as the security cameras in this place? Marcus gave me a grin that looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place, just in case, you know? Just in case of what? As he opens his mouth to answer, the elevator comes to a stop and the doors slide open. Marcus is out right away without a word. He makes his exit and heads directly for a glassed-in room and is filled with computer monitors and high-end equipment. Dennis and I filed out behind him trying to keep up. As we do, one very alarming question runs through my mind. What the hell kind of government facility keeps loaded guns and emergency vaults in every single room? Oh boy. This is getting good. Oh, creators of this game, you have piqued my interest tenfold. Curiosity. You're at 39% of players obeyed the warning sign and stayed away from the glow. The majority of people went towards the radiation? That's insane. What the hell's wrong with you people? God damn, selflessness. You and 64% of players stepped in front of Dennis to protect him from Marcus. Mercy. You and 65% of players were easy on Marcus after surrendering. Alright, so not really a lot of choices to be made in this chapter, but things got eerily interesting. Oh man, there is something in the labs on the loose, and it's killing everyone it comes across. Somehow Marcus was able to survive, so it seems like he locked himself in a room that was inaccessible to whatever the hell was running on a rampage. And Dennis and I, having the worst of luck, stumbling upon this place during the worst possible time. Oh man, like I said, Resident Evil vibes, but oh man, this is getting so good. Alright, so that's the end of chapter 2. I'm gonna pick things up with chapter 3, and God only knows where the hell this is gonna go next. Hopefully, and I mean hopefully, with Marcus being an IT expert, he can run these computers and possibly find the rest of our crew. Because we still have Joe and Frank to find. Because remember, Tony's dead, and all we have with us is Dennis. And Dennis, hopefully we can get him patched up and he'll be right as rain in no time. But oh man, I'm excited. Alright, anyway, I'm going to pause it right here. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then first you must find that like button. Keep playing it awesome, and I'll see you all on my next adventure.